Hi guys, I am Vitold, and in this video I'm showing you the best side of the new Harley-Davidson Pan America. Now this will be mostly about Pan America Special, which is truly special with its electronically adjustable suspension, but if you exclude this, it will apply to the base bike as well. And I'm not seeing many riders actually spending this kind of money on it and not going straight for the special version, so I think it would be the most relevant this way. So yes, this is a video that's presenting the bright side, but there is also a darker side of the Pan America, and there is or shortly will be a video showing that opposite perspective. I highly recommend that you see that video too if you're actually really considering getting this bike. It may cool you down a little bit if you get also a little bit too hot after this one. So if you care about seeing both perspectives, go ahead. If you are looking for reasons to buy it and don't care about the rest, do not watch that video, as it may piss you off or hurt your feelings if you already have a Pan America. Alright, let's get straight to business and start with the first reason to buy Harley's new, very interesting, in fact, creation, the Pan America. Again, I believe it makes the most sense to get this special one. So the first point on the list is that the bike is super high tech, and that's because of the suspension. To make things fair, there are some things that the bike is lacking, like a fully keyless system with a keyless fuel cap. Some things could be better on this front, but about the suspension, it truly may give you two feelings in 2 different seconds, if you want that. And that's the cool part. It may be really soft and comfortable, and with a flick of a switch, it may turn into a giant skateboard and become really stiff and shaky. The differences are super big. The road or the highway setting, depending on how you read and perceive that icon, that one is really comfortable, while the sport one is really stiff and like on a sports bike. It doesn't necessarily make it a sports bike as a whole, but it definitely makes it impressively stiff. So the tech is definitely here, but that's not the end, as this bike is lowering itself by up to 5 centimeters when you are about to stop. And that is the world's first, I believe. No KTM, no BMW, and no Ducati can give you that. Yeah, Vespa also cannot give you that. It is an amazing idea, amazing implementation, and it's generally amazing that such a thing actually works in a Harley-Davidson. The bike may not want to start its engine if it doesn't feel like, but once the engine is running, the suspension works. That's what you need to know at this point. If you want to know more about the flaws and the engine issue, that second video that I mentioned is for you. There will be a link to that video in the description once it's live. But it's not the end with the suspension, as Harley engineers haven't just made it go up and down, and they went one step further and they developed pretty much 4 different simple scenarios in which you guys can use it. The first way is to keep it automatic in the predefined modes. And then the bike will try to estimate, based on your speed, when you will come to a full stop to be already fully lowered at that moment. The issue may appear if you ride in slow traffic and speed up right before stopping, as the bike will not aim for your next stop with lowering the suspension. So you may use the second option in one of your own riding modes and order the bike to fully lower only after you stop and keep standing for more than either half a second, and with the third option for 2 seconds. That's really nice, smart, and cool when you are off-roading, for example. Now the fourth option is to disable the function completely and have the bike as high as possible at all times, so that it doesn't commit a suicide accidentally standing over some curb or on rocks sticking somewhere from the ground and the bike just going smash like that. I am very impressed, and I'm happy that Harley succeeded, as this may be a powerful kick in the butts for other bikes and other manufacturers in the category, and it can speed up the development of really cool and useful features in this area. So yeah, this is definitely a big reason, this suspension reason, to get a Harley. It's not very easy to ride and not very precise at low speeds, but I appreciate the idea of height adjustability and its implementation, along with making the modes really different. The second reason is that this can be a very capable and enjoyable touring motorcycle. It's not really an adventure bike, in my opinion, as it feels closer to BMW R1250 RT rather than a GS, except for a shape and a seat height that's pretty far from the ground. And also here with speed disappears this issue of not being that easy and precise to steer, is that is only present at lower speeds. Hit 40 kilometers per hour and it will be fun. But the thing is that in the highway setting or the road setting, the suspension is very comfortable and flies. It just soaks all the bumps. This is great on longer rides, as is its comfortable soft seat. It's really very nice. Probably the most comfortable seat out there. I think it can really work for you guys as a touring motorcycle. In terms of riding comfort and the DNA, I feel that it could tick most of the boxes here. The third reason may be pretty obvious and super powerful, or it may on the other hand be dumb. You guys decide, I guess. But the reason for buying a Harley-Davidson Pan America can be that it is a Harley-Davidson. Yeah, as simple and at the same time as powerful as that. If you have achieved everything in life but don't have a Harley, it means that you haven't really achieved everything yet. But you may really hate choppers and cruisers and simply cannot go forward and instead just choose a BMW or a Ducati or whatever to keep it in the living room. Now, a Harley name is a legend. Many of their bikes are rubbish and nobody cares about them, but there are people who love them. Those bikes aren't even compared with anything else, and everyone, including myself, seems to think that it's okay and they can be excused. So take a look at this bugger. The Pan America is actually an impressive piece of technology with more advanced suspension than any other bike in the category. And I know that people who already have a Harley bike and wanted to have an adventure one now can buy and are many of them buying Pan Americas. Also, those who had to get a different bike to put next to their Harley, now those guys can sell those bikes or those ladies and get the Pan America. And I totally get it, it's natural and I'm actually happy for those. It's maybe not the prettiest bike, so a Harley logo may be the motivation strong enough to overcome that aspect for many. The fourth reason for which you may want to get a Pan America is its engine. It really can be, I think. Of course, when it starts, as before that, there aren't many benefits of having it. Well, when it decides that it's in a mood to work for you, then it's brilliant, and I mean it. It may not rev over 4,000 RPM when stationary, so you cannot really rev it and have that much fun, but it's not the engine's fault, but a software screw up by someone who doesn't understand what motorcycles are about. Now, the power of 150 horsepower is there, and it feels that all of those 150 Mustangs are constantly on board. Set the bike to a sport mode, and the reaction to throttle is fantastic. And this big beast just explodes forward anytime you roll the throttle even a little bit. If you roll it wide open, which you have to have a super flexible wrist to do it because it's freaking having a crazy range of motion. Yeah, but if you manage, it's brilliant. There's plenty of power, there's plenty of torque, and it makes riding very cool at any speed. You can feel that it's a capable bike, and I really like it. You may take joy from simply accelerating, is what I'm trying to say here. The beast pulls well when you need it, and it's one of the best parts of the bike. And the fifth point on my list is the sound, as Pan America can sound really nice. Give it an aftermarket exhaust to also hear it properly finally, and man, I would like to be there. Stock exhaust sounds good, but you might not hear much when gaining speed and getting hit with the wind in your helmet. Having a V2 engine pretty much guarantees that there is potential in terms of sound, and it is the case here. Now, the sixth reason for buying a Pan America may be that even though this is Harley's first attempt to get into the adventure category, at least looking like an adventure category, the bike is already fine and it feels mostly refined. There are some small mistakes here and there, and they are silly and they are really stupid in some points. More on those in the other video, but they're not making it a thing that should be thrown straight to rubbish, which is great. So this is a big success by Harley, and I hope that they continue and build upon that. It's not a prototype anymore, but an adult in the category. And the seventh reason is that if you want to be truly different and still stay with a bike that's in an adventure category somehow, I don't expect seeing many of those around, especially in Europe, where Harley-Davidson is usually not the first brand to choose for most riders. Also, because of their very high pricing, but that's kind of how it works. I do recommend that you see the reasons to avoid that video and then make your own conclusions. If you feel like this is the bike for you, then please do let me know why in the comments. I know some of you already got the Pan America, so please also do share your reasons for that, especially if you're not Americans. If you are Americans, we know why. Because you're Harley fans. I'm kidding, of course. Don't take this seriously. But if you see something else on top of what I already mentioned, also please do let us all know.